Because the people really, I think, you got me thinking, talking about Egypt, because some couple of countries, specifically Saudi Arabia, you get in there, your passports are taken from you right from the airport.
Exactly.
And the citizens also cooperate, because when you're driven back to the airport, your passport is given to the cab driver, who hands your passport over to the immigration when it gets to the airport.
Exactly.
So these are some of the things you're saying that we should also start doing as a people, because we're in dire situations.
Exactly. Now, you see, I don't know, many of you may not be aware, during the Biafran War, at the beginning of the Biafran War, we had a state of alert here in Lagos, where the slogan was always read on the television and on the radio: don't sit on the fence, join the civil defense. Don't sit on the fence, join the civil defense. Every household had this mental awareness that everybody has to be on the lookout, that we're in a state of war. And that's the truth. We are in a state of war. It may not be war yet in our neck of the wood, but down the road I see it happen. I see it happen because the successes with which these people are recording their activities in the north emboldens them. And it makes them to think, well, let's strike them where they're not even expecting us. Because we seem to look at the north being far away from us. We're part of the north, for God's sake.
How do we begin to show support? Because I think one of the things that also bothers many Southerners is the fact that they're not able to. It's like you're just watching what is going on. Life is going on here for us as normal. And what we hear sounds like it's happening in another country. But how do we begin to show support for our brothers and sisters in the north?
I just said it. In your neighborhood, raise the awareness.
That is raising the awareness for your own security around here. But what about, in terms of helping those who have been affected, the victims?
People have to be aware first. They have to be aware first. There are a lot of people who are not aware of what's going on out there. They have to be aware first.
In spite of it being in the news?
I'm telling you. They read the news, it's like, oh, it's in Afghanistan.
And who do we wait to get us aware? The federal government?
Yeah.
What's wrong with the states, the local government? Why do we all have to
The governments all have to get involved too. All the governments, whether state or local, they have to get involved too. Because if it happens, it's going to happen in some neighborhood. And that's the truth.
What do we do with this mindset that it's got to come from the top? That's the presidency. Because when people talk about governments, don't forget that they've got three arms. But most times when we hear them talk about government, they point to the presidency. Well, yes, even if the command and control will come from there, but there's more to that than just command and control that people could do. But that doesn't seem to happen.
It's a fallacy for anybody to imagine that everything that we're talking about must start from the presidency. It's a fallacy. It starts from your own neighborhood. They will not go and attack Aso Rock. That's the presidency. They cannot go there because they know they have enough resistance to prevent them from getting there.
Okay, so that's not a soft target.
That's not. That's a hard target. But my backyard is a very soft target.
You can see that even after so many years, you still can't forget that slogan, don't be on the fence, join the civil defense, just as some will not forget that the task of building Nigeria is a task that must be done.
Exactly.
Orientation and reorientation, re-education, how well have we done with all of that? Because we still can remember what MAMSA was doing then. With the NOA, it comes to question this time because people should be aware in their local languages, in their communities, on radio, television, leaflets. Are we doing enough in that regard?
We're not. That's where we need to focus our attention. We need to inform people that something is going on that is going to perhaps cause big anguish for us. Look, the parents of those kidnapped children will not sleep. It could be my child. And that's the issue. So people need to begin to understand that what's going on out there, it's affecting all of us. And therefore, we all need to be aware. We all need to start doing some education of the mindset that, look, it could happen in my backyard. And then we become more vigilant about what activities we have around us. It is only when that happens that people will begin to see this in the newspaper, in the television, and imagine that they're part of it. In the beginning, there was a soft sell. Christian, Muslim. Now it is clear that that's not the issue. It hasn't gotten any religious connotation even from the beginning. They sold us a decoy.
And some of us fell for it.
And a lot of us fell for it. Now it's becoming clearer that they have some deeper meaning to what they're trying to do. I had said, these people are protesting against their leadership. And the reason for that is, up until these moments, the societies that you have up north, there are people who have lived with a sense of deprivation. And that sense of deprivation has not gone away.
Haven't most people in this country?
Well, to the extent that down here, people can self-actualize. Over there, they're limited. The opportunities for people to self-actualize is completely hard and unreachable for a number of people.
Shouldn't we be asking ourselves, how did we get it? Because every state gets allocation from the AFAC meeting. So what happens to all those funds that they get?
A failure, a disconnect between government and people up there for a long time.
But the aggression doesn't seem to be with those direct leadership there.
Those direct leadership don't live there.
They don't?
They don't. They walk some there and leave more out of the place. So it's difficult to get at them.
But do we get the impression that they're also aggrieved about lack of development or leadership, if you will?
I hope they are. I hope they're conscious. I hope they understand.
But is that the impression that the society, that the country gets? Because most of the message out there seems to be directed at the center.
Well, to the extent that people live with some illusion. But reality is reality. If you go up there, you will see deprivation and you don't need to be told. You come down here, you will see a sign that something is going on. That some people at least are trying to help some people. Over there, it's different.
Well, it goes back to what Chamberlain is trying to say, that over time, they also had leaders, and they still have leaders, and people have the allocation. So isn't it time for people to also question what they've actually used such allocations for in all the years since perhaps after independence?
Did you hear what I said? I said there are some unspoken questions that Boko Haram is asking. They're unspoken yet. Just like what you said. Why have you neglected us for this long? You told us don't get Western education. Your children got Western education. Those children are far removed from us now. They're not even doing what you used to do. What the fathers of all these young northern leaders used to do was provide food, breakfast, lunch, dinner for all these people in their neighborhood. and they said, don't go into Western education. But their children have gotten Western education. They have become leaders of society. But they're far removed from the practices that their own fathers used to give in the society.
What about that school of thought? Remember the former NSA, the late Zazime, so rest in peace. At the time where, there was a time he just dropped it, where almost every major person was sitting at a gathering and he said, this is political. Go sort yourself out. This problem will end. What have we done with that ideology?
Well, this is political. Don't limit politics to party politics. Politics of human beings, politics of population, politics of poverty.
The impression people got was it was party politics.
I know. But I'm saying don't limit it to that.
How do you mean?
You see, you play politics with people's lives in different shades and forms. Or you're a Christian, or he's a Muslim. Or you Christians don't live with Muslims. You Muslims, you must persecute Christians. It's all politics. Control. That's what politics is all about. And people over the years have used poverty as a powerful tool to control people. A person who is impoverished becomes subservient to whoever provides the little crumbs that's dropping on the table. Now, these people, over time, have gotten so tired of being given the crumbs, they're now turning around to say, in your home, you eat fat cows, and all we get is just the bones. Why should that be? And that's the question that Boko Haram is asking.
No, but Dr. Adedeji, today people are complaining about electricity situation.
Yes.
It's been privatized.
Yes.
They have regional autonomies now. I say, where? That complaint is there. People provide boreholes, water for themselves. That complaint is also there. And the same thing happens for so many other things. And they're not going about it violently.
Because you have been given a platform out here with your Western education to be able to say something.
But it's not everybody that's got that Western education.
I
And they
believe-
all complain too.
I believe
but not
the
violently.
majority of people who have it have been able to use that opportunity to express those things that are felt by the people who don't have the education. But up there, the ones who have the education don't complain because they're getting all the lages, all the goodies of governance. The ones who are not getting anything do not have the opportunity to complain.
Yeah, but some people wonder, is it by killing your fellow Nigerians, or if the people who are perpetrating this act are Nigerians, is it by killing fellow human beings that you get your complaints out in the public? Or how does that better your situation?
I have said it. All is fair in love and war. Go through history. All guerrilla wars are fought like that.
So
all terrorist groups
do we really
fight
know
like that.
what this group is about now?
Yeah.
Do we really understand what this war, because if we're in a war, we should know why it is we're fighting.
We know.
What is it that they want?
We know they're hedging. People are not being realistic. They're not being honest. A lot of people have been impoverished. A lot of people have been disenfranchised for such a long time. And those people are the immediate recruits that go into the movement of Boko Haram. And what is Boko Haram saying? We are completely fed up of this kind of leadership that we have gotten for years and years. You deceived us that Western education is not good, but you all got Western education. And you're ruling us because of that. That's the cynism. And people need to catch up with that to be able to appreciate how deep-rooted this thing is. If people do not sit and understand that societies are made up of human population, and the human mindset in every society is craving for opportunities, craving for improvement. And once a set of people are deprived, they become the weak part of that society. And they're the ones who will foment all the troubles that... Look, the area boys that we have in Lagos is because they didn't have the kind of education that they needed, and the rest of society is moving ahead. And they're being left behind. So they have to find a way to become relevant in the society.
Can we sort this out?
Yes, we can. Oh, yes, we can. But it's not going to be something that we do between now and next year and we say it's done. No. We have to have a program to re-educate and reorientate the society. We need to start by letting people know the truth about what has happened in the past. Let people own up. Let leadership own up that people have been deprived over the years. And such people are the ones who are the easy recruits that will go into the movement and do whatever it takes to get their message across.
That's leadership indicting itself. Do you see that happening?
I hope we can do that.
Okay.
I hope we can do that.
All right, Dr. Adetokunbo Adedeji, thank you very much indeed for coming on today.
It's a pleasure.
All right, let's flip over for the headline news where Ayotunde Balogun is standing by. Go ahead.